Evan and Tom here today from ET Reefing, and we said we were gonna do a sump and frag tank tour of our sump and frag tank, and that's what we're gonna do.
You ready? Head down?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go. So we're gonna start off the tour with my frag tank, the ones that's actually set up, and these are my corals. And what we have some LEDs on this one, and we have a power head right there. And then for the refugium, we actually made the lights out of 3 LEDs, and then this is like a mini power head. And this tank is actually connected. Like the overflow goes straight from here down into this tank, so that you don't lose as many nutrients or like good bugs and stuff that you want to grow in your refugium through pumps and other things like that.
You want me to talk about the sump then, or the filtration?
Yeah.
Or you want to start? We'll back it up. That's kind of the overview. You see all this stuff, the goodies. Lots of flashing lights. I want to get more flashing lights because they're cool. On a serious note, some of you might know what a lot of you know what this is. I'll just do a real quick labeling of things for those who don't. We'll start here. This is where it all happens. That's the return pump. It pumps the water from the source or the sump, pumps it up, and I've actually got it set up to feed everything, the different tanks. Everything's on a valve. One for that refugium Evan showed you, and the frag tank. This is another frag tank. It's not set up yet. Well, I mean, it's set up, but there's nothing in it. The pump also feeds our bio pellet reactors. 2 of them running there. They're only half full. Feeds the GFO, the carbon, and a nice skimmer. It's an old model. I was able to get a heck of a good price on it, Vertex. What else do we have? It's all wired in. It's all GFCI. Anti-circuit breaker, nice and safe. What's that? Yeah. The heating system. We have the heater on its own controller. Alright, the block with the light. I got it. Peristaltic pumps, goes to the elements. We'll talk a little bit about them. Kind of an old school auto top off. It's just a float. It's a float hooked up to a valve, hooked up to a timer, which is kind of cool. It runs twice for 15 minutes a day. And the float will actually stop the water flowing in when the tank is full. Keep it up to that chrome sticker there. That's basically it. Well, the reason we keep the sump downstairs, there's a couple of good reasons actually. Number one, if there's any leakage or anything like that from the sump, it leaks on the basement floor, which is a lot better than the living room floor. Also, we found it's quite a bit easier to regulate the temperature, especially in the summer when the water tends to heat up. It stays cooler because it's circulating down in the cool basement. It also keeps the humidity a little more stable upstairs.
Well, now that we're upstairs, let's talk about some products that we use to maintain our low nutrient SPS system. SPS is a type of coral, usually branchy, and it stands for small polyp stony corals. And they're usually branchy like acros and birds' nests and things like that. So let's start off with the Zeobac microorganism solution. So this is basically bacteria in a bottle. It helps the corals. The corals actually use it as a food source sometimes, and it moves unwanted solutions and
substances. Yeah, it actually. What it does is it actually helps to lower the nutrients because it consumes nutrients in the water column. the different proteins and organic stuff like that.
Doesn't it also make the corals more colorful?
Well, when you get the nutrients low, it tends to promote more color in the corals.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so this is GFO. It's from BRS, and it actually reduces phosphate. And do I talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. Well, the phosphate.
Where we put it?
Well, we put it in a reactor in the basement. We showed you that. It just kind of bubbles in there, real slow flow. But what phosphate is, well, what phosphate does is it kind of promotes algae growth. So you want to keep it. You want to keep it to a minimum. That way you don't have any outbreaks.
At least in our system, because some corals like phosphate, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't take all the phosphate out. You keep it as close to 0 parts per million phosphate as possible. And this is one of the compounds that help you achieve that.
This is carbon. Do you want to talk about some carbon?
Yeah,
Please?
carbon also helps to lower the nutrient levels in the tank by absorbing organic compounds in the water, as well as it definitely absorbs any toxins you might accidentally introduce to the system and things like that. Its primary function, however, is absorbing organic compounds.
And so you don't tumble carbon, do you?
No, it stays. Yeah, if you tumble it, it becomes a powder and it'll mix with the water in the fish tank. So, what happens when you do this with the bacteria and the biopellets in the basement and all this stuff? You get the nutrient levels so low, and you also lower some of the parts per millions of elements in the water. So then what you do is you reintroduce that in precise amounts to feed the coral. You want to talk about how we feed the coral, or?
Well, we manually dose this, right?
No, that goes through a peristaltic pump, a dosing pump.
Okay, we manually dose these those, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we manually dose these. These are Red Sea Reef Foundation A and B, and this one's they're just powder supplements. And do I talk about them a little bit?
Yeah. Well, what this one is, Foundation A, you mix it with water to run it through the doser, and what it basically is calcium, and it's got strontium in it, a little bit of magnesium, and what that does is it's what the coral takes in to build its skeleton, the hard branchy part of it. Okay, this is component B. What this does is buffers the water, which basically means it raises the alkalinity. Okay, and you use them together.
And we manually dose these. This is the Zeo food. Do you want to talk about Zeo food?
Yeah. I'm not precisely sure what the function of this is, but what my research has led me to believe that it helps to feed the bacteria that we're introducing to the water, as well as feeding the corals. So we're just trying it out, I guess. That's pretty much the organic part of the food for the coral, the bacteria and this stuff here.
Okay, so what these are coral colors, and we dose these manually.
Right.
And they each serve a different function. This is the iodine substance, and it helps pink colors.
These are all trace elements. The coral requiring a very small, precise count, volumes in the water. It's part of the structure of the skeleton and even the color in the coral tissue. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This helps the pink colors in corals. This one is the potassium, and is that right? Potassium?
Yep.
And it helps the red colors. This one is iron and some other complementary trace element, and it does the green colors. And this, last but not least, is the minerals, right?
Yep. Bioactive minerals.
And it
I have
helps
no
the
idea what that means.
blue, purple and blue colors. But
Yeah. This is almost what you'd call a hybrid system between the Zeovit and the Red Sea products. So I don't know. I chose the zeal of it is like that's like the maverick hobbyist thing, and it's a little beyond me. And there's a lot more components to that system. We're just staying with just the bacteria part of the deal. We elected to go with, as far as the elements and stuff goes, the Red Sea, because it's a lot easier. It's laid out real well. They have really cool videos and websites on the internet that explains in simple detail how all of this works and how to dose it and things like that. And they complement each other well. It's super simple. So we're getting close to wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to do for our next video?
For episode 3, we're gonna do probably some kind of testing your water video. Probably calcium, but I don't want to give you too much of a sneak peek. But hint, hint, calcium. But please comment. What should our episode 4 be? We need help with that.
Okay.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to talk just about calcium or about testing in general.
Testing in general, and more to calcium in that video, but we'll do other elements in other videos.
We're going to actually do a calcium test?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it, or do I have to? You should do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'm tired of doing all the testing. I have to do all the drops.
Okay. Please like and subscribe. Also, comment any questions and what should episode 4 be. Have a good time reefing, and see you next time.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.